Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Bonov, and let's get back to my developer commentary of Dubloon. Aha. I was watching some of the episodes. Okay. I recorded the last few episodes basically in one sitting, and didn't actually watch any of them until a little bit ago. And I found that I tend to mumble a lot and speak really quickly, and I'm not really very coherent. So I'm going to start making a conscious effort to sound really coherent and confident, so that you know what I'm saying, and then we will all be happy. These are problems that I have to work on. Oh yeah. I promise the game still runs a little bit slow, which is kind of annoying. But I guess I can deal. So, I remember when I was making this forest, I really like the shovel, because it was just like a really cool piratey item. It was actually, a friend of mine came up with the idea. He was, actually, you know what? His name's Will Standish, and he was actually the real life inspiration for Captain Standish, one of the quartet. So my friend Will, I was trying to come up with ideas for like special items because I had the bombs and I wasn't really sure where else to go, and he suggested a shovel. And his idea was that you could dig up buried items, and you could also, like, instead of throwing away items, you could bury your items in the ground and then come back later to find them. And I thought that was a really cool idea. Like, you create your own buried treasure. But I quickly found that it was actually really hard to come up with like a really simple way to save like item locations, and for players who like wanted to store their items, there wasn't really, I don't know, it wouldn't make much sense, like, if you were like in the middle of a dungeon and you ran out of space in your inventory, to like just bury like a pill or something in the ground there, because it wasn't really readily accessible or anything. So it just ended up, it was a cool idea in theory, but when I actually put more thought into it, I realized that it wouldn't really work. But in its current incarnation, the shovel was still pretty cool, and I think it was a pretty nice idea for like a pirate-themed item for Dubloon. I was excited about it, so I wanted to put a bunch of buried items in the forest, because it sort of made sense that you'd find buried stuff in the forest for some reason. Right, so I sort of just threw a bunch of, like, you know, buried items in the ground, and I hadn't really filled them out until later, and I wasn't really sure what to put in them. So I ended up just, I figured some healing items or something, chicken wings, beer, stuff like that. And it only later occurred to me that it didn't really make much sense for there to be like a chicken wing buried in the ground in the forest. At the time when I was doing it, it made perfect sense, like, oh yeah, you find a buried chicken wing here. But I actually thought about it and was like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense at all. Oh jeez. So, sort of unintentional humor there. Kind of like the hamburgers that you find in the trash can in Earthbound. Oh my goodness. Goodness, this is running a little slow. Alright, well. Onward ho. And here we are, the town. Actually, when I got to the town, when I was making the game, I went through like a really intense, like, mid-game hang on just a second. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the window for my recorder, and I was afraid that it disappeared. But I think I can save this. It will be okay. Fortunately, I can't actually see what my time is. So I'll probably end up editing this later. Once I, oops. Figure out. Anyway. Recording aside, when I was making this, when I got to this town, I went through like a really, like, serious mid-game crisis, where I felt like the game was just suddenly getting really slow and boring, and I wasn't really sure what I could do to make it interesting again. And I think that's one of those problems that's sort of characteristic with making games. Like, I've heard of this happening with other developers. Because with games, there's so many components to it. You know, the artwork, the music, the gameplay. And the goal in games is sort of make something that's fun, but fun is something that's really subjective, and it's hard to say, look at something and say, you know, objectively, like, yes, this is fun, this is a good game. So, yeah, I was having some trouble. Originally, I planned to have, like, an item trading quest in the town, where, like, the guard in front of the Navy base was gonna be, like, really lonely, and he wanted a girlfriend. And he'd find a girl, but she was too shy to talk to him, so he'd have to get a book on loneliness, or overcoming shyness. Oh, yeah, sorry. A book on overcoming shyness. Because that was something they did in Earthbound, for, like, these little alien creatures. And it was gonna be sort of reference to that. But, I don't know, it just seemed really lame at the time. I wanted something a bit more interesting to happen, something a bit more piratey. And then I came up with the idea for, like, a break-in, something a bit more forceful and adventurous. So you find, like, the secret entrance into the Navy base. And that's pretty cool. And with that, my spark for the game was sort of reignited. And, yep. And then with that came for this, like, mini-game where you have to sneak by the guards. Yep. Alright. I'm gonna heal here, gonna save here. Alright, and time to fight Bradley. Oh, this is another, like, part I had trouble with when I got here, where I just sort of lost, I guess I should say, inspiration on the game, because I wanted, I mean, it was important that I have, like, Riley's dad be killed here, and, like, he needed to, like, really have, like, a grudge against Bradley. I wanted to sort of have him have that tie with the other two characters, where they all sort of had a common enemy. But I just sort of realized that it wasn't really, like, very meaningful, because you never really got to meet his dad before the scene, so you just sort of say hi to him and then he's killed, and it's not really very moving, or you don't really get a sense of, like, Riley's loss or anything. One of my, like, few regrets with the game. But it works, you know. Some people still buy into it, I don't know. This is running really slowly, it's disappointing. Bradley has, like, these really cool updated ice ball attacks now. Yeah, those are pretty good. I remember I said before that the Bradley fight in the jail has exactly the same stats as the Bradley fight, like, on the first boat. Oops. No, okay. And this Bradley actually, I thought I made him a little stronger, but it turns out this one also has exactly the same stats as the one you fight in the jail and on the ship. The only difference is that this one has, like, 10 more hit points. But I think that was balanced out because he has, like, more of those, like, click attack minigames. So you can basically defend yourself against him a bit better, and he doesn't do as much damage overall as a result.